organizational structure it impacts communication method. So here we'll be talking about how an organizational structure it impacts communication method. Now, first of all, talking about organizational structure. Organizational structure is like a formal structure which defines the hierarchy of an organization. How many positions are there? Who is reporting to whom? And by communication method or by communication, we mean who reports to whom. Now, methods could be different. You could be, sending out letters to your employees, or they could be reaching out to you via emails, via WhatsApp. That could be different. But what here we'll be discussing is we'll be mainly focusing upon the organizational structure. Now, it's very important for an organization to have a proper hierarchy. Why? Or to outline its hierarchy, to know in paper who is reporting to whom, how many employees are there, how many levels are there in an organization, because it improves efficiency. You would know that, okay, this is my boss, I have to be reporting to him for a certain task, or I have to be reporting to the CEO for a certain task. It makes it really easier. There is no hassle, there is no then kind of like, in order to avoid that grapevine structure or that hassle, for example, I have to do something, and if I'm not told who am I supposed to report, then I could be reporting to 10,000 people. But if those people are not relevant, then that would be futile. 5 organizational structures. There are like 5 types of organizational structures we were discussing here. There may be others as well, but these are the prominent ones that are being used by businesses around the globe. So number 1, tall versus flat, it's self-explanatory. In the tall structure, you'll be seeing a lot of levels, hierarchical levels, whereas in the flat structure, then there are not so many levels. So now there are pros and cons associated with each structure. Now, talking about these structures, the diagrams are enough. They speak volumes itself. But now, talking about the pros and cons associated with these structures. Now, when we talk about vertical or tall structure, either could be used. So when it comes to vertical structure, so we see a very formal structure. There are a lot of managerial levels involved. You see a vertical ladder there, right? It's more of a controlled environment, business environment. You are certain someone is supposed to report to a certain manager. So here it's more controlled, and the disadvantage associated. Now, talking about these structures, the diagrams are enough, and the disadvantage associated with this structure is that it is a lot time consuming. When there is a decision which is to be distributed into the lower levels, or something that is to be communicated to the CEO, then it has to pass through, a piece of knowledge has to pass through or be approved by a lot of levels. So there are a lot of people involved in that process, which makes it a lot more slower. So when it comes to a flat or horizontal structure, so you see that there are less layers involved, which means managers have bigger teams to deal with. They have, a lot of people to deal with, to overlook, to see whether they are working right or not. So they have more responsibility, but then there is more autonomy involved when it comes to a flat structure. By autonomy, I mean autonomy is there is more autonomy for the employees. Like, they can work, they have more space to showcase their skills and do things the way they want. So it's less of an autocratic structure. Now, autocratic is not the right term, but there are less orders involved, there are less ways of doing things involved. If you are supposed to do something, you have the freedom to do it your way. Now, it's in comparison to tall structure, we are not saying we have absolute freedom here, or to do anything or to do everything. No, that's not right. So that is there, but at the same time, there are less progression opportunities. By progression opportunities, now it's very important for any organization. You all may be working somewhere, so you would know the importance of progression opportunities. Why is it important for you to be working in an organization where where there are promotions, where you see the progression opportunities, where and now the first thing that I do is that I I kind of like get information or research or look up, or use my sources to get information about the progression opportunities. How often do they give promotions? What are the incentives they may be offering to the employees? What are the things that they are doing for their employees, for the progression of their employees, for the facilitation of their employees? So this is very important. But when it comes to a flat horizontal structure, there are less progression opportunities. By less we mean there are a lot time consuming. You may take years and years to get one promotion, and then there's a lot of workload on the managers. Besides, there is better communication here as compared to the vertical structure. By better communication we mean more efficient. That there is on the other hand, if we talk about tall structure, there is less effective, or you could say efficient communication. So it says flat structure, but there's a mistake. Kindly correct this one. This is not a flat structure. This is a matrix organizational structure. You can um, go through the description of this, right? So a matrix organizational structure is a combination of two or more types of organizational structures. um, it's a way of arranging your business that you set up reporting relationships as a grid or a matrix rather than in a traditional hierarchy. So now there is not like one person is reporting to another one. No, here one person may be reporting to two or three people. Here it could be reporting maybe in a way that the departments, it's the reporting may be interdepartmental. One department, or someone from one department may be reporting to someone of another department, right? From another department, sorry. So if you now read carefully the description, you see that they say there are multiple managers. Now there could be one person, but there could be multiple managers, or there could be a team who may be led by multiple managers. Maybe there's a manager from marketing, there's a manager from finance, there's someone from accounting. So there's a lot of information which is being shared to a lot of people, right? Which can lead to conflicts as well. And there is slower decision making. Why? Because there are so many people involved. Now lesser people means lesser time to make a decision, or to lead to a decision, or come to a decision, or come to a point. When we were talking about tall organizational structure, there were also so many levels involved, so many people involved. That is what was stretching the time frame for making a decision. Here that is also happening. So that is why we say it's not like that the disadvantage is that it's more time consuming, and then it leads to lack of clarity because there are so many people involved. You it's not clear who is supposed to be reporting to whom. Now that is clear, but at the same time it takes a lot of time to reach to a decision. So it helps companies communicate better, share resources between departments efficiently develop employees. But they can also add confusion to the reporting process, as I said. Now, organizational structure by region. Now, this is an example of the blue, yellow, and red box is an example of regional organizational structure. There is no explanation to it, but you have to search it for your own. In simple words, it's a structure where an organization outlines, or it kind of like arranges the structure in a way that outlines the different regions in which a company operates. So it is a structure in which a company arranges its organization by geographic area or region. For instance, if we talk about Nestle, so Nestle have um, plants in I don't know about do they have plants here or not, but they do have a company here. So if they make their regional organizational structure, so they'd be highlighting the areas or countries where they have their branches, or their franchises, or their companies or businesses or whatsoever. So coming on to the last part, which is dotted organizational structure. So here you'd find dotted lines in addition to solid lines. A solid line represents relationship between employee and their immediate manager, leader, or a person who he or she may be reporting to directly, right? but you also will find dotted lines here, which represents that this is a person the employee reports to on specific projects, or he or she may be the secondary supervisor. For instance, you are supposed to, a solid line represents that you are supposed to directly report to the manager if he is a manager. And dotted line to the CO may represent that you are also supposed to, report to the CEO as well, but on a secondary basis. Initially, you have to, under no, I mean, you're bound to first tell your supervisor or the direct person or wherever the straight line heads to or leads to. I hope this makes sense, guys. If it does not, do let me know. I'm just like a text away. I mean, you can reach out to me via the coordinator. Thank you so much. Right. So in this part, we'll be talking about impact of new technologies on organizations, systems, and practices. So first of all, I want you all to know that with advancement, we all say, okay, technology is advancing day by day and all of that. But with that, it's shaping the way businesses operate. It's shaping the way businesses work. It's shaping the way how organizations operate, right? It's shaping the practices within the organizations. It's changing the roles of people. It may be demanding new roles, or it may be, um, it may be reducing the demand of, HR. So, anyways, let's, first of all, as an introduction, it encourages new roles within organizations. As I have already mentioned, that new technologies demand new skills and tasks from workers. You see, with new technology, we know you should know how to run that technology, how to use that technology, and that also needs training. So it helps make organizations more, work more efficiently. And technology has improved, is adding to automation day by day, and it's providing people with greater flexibility and autonomy in how and when they work. Now, why do I say how and when they work? This is what I'll be explaining in the next slide. So when we talk about technology, so technology, it has, again, as I said earlier, brought greater flexibility in work. People can work now remotely or while sitting in the comforts of their houses or wherever they are. They don't need to, necessarily report to offices or specific or particular workspaces. No, they can work now from the comforts of their houses or wherever they are in the world, and still earn their bread and butter. But digital working on multiple devices, it brings a downside of blurred boundaries between work and personal life. Because when you work in the house, there are a lot of other things that are maybe whirling around your mind, or that's not a workplace. There is a reason we need a workplace, and that need has emerged after we've come across with this concept of remote working. You see, I don't think, I'm not a fan of online classes. Why? Because trust me, at this level, I feel like uh, you know, my homies or my family does not even consider when I'm at home. They feel like, okay, this is her holiday. Come on, bombard her with tasks and all of that. And this is not the only reason. When you go out of your house for a certain thing, for education um, or for work, so you come across a different environment that changes your mind. That kind of brings a change to you. If you're, going through something hard in life, so you meet new people, you work, and your attention kind of like diverts from that particular stress. So that is why I think going to work and education, going to work or going to places for certain things is important. So walking from from the homes, it kind of like, it kind of blurs the boundaries between work and personal life. It does not like get you out of that zone which is continuously pressing you, which is continuously, driving you crazy or insane. So it is a significant driver of stress as well. This is what we are talking about here. that is the impact of technology. It has introduced us to remote working, which means people are working from their houses, from their rooms, from wherever they are living, which is easier, which is convenient, but it has kind of isolated them. Now they're working in isolation. And then maintaining consistency, which is hard sometimes because there's no normal or formal workspace, and then it's very hard to keep up with the day-to-day tasks and with the work as well. You don't know what you don't know what your workers may be going through. They may be going through a hard phase in their life, and whether they are able to focus, whether they're able to maintain that needed consistency or not. Then comes to speed of responses. Well, to some level, communication is improved because technology has advanced so much up to so many levels, but at the same time, there are so many drawbacks and downturns to that. So it definitely impacts the speed of responses. You don't have to wait for letters, and you are not from that era anymore where you have to wait for faxes and letters and official letters, etc. Now, like a click can do wonders. Need for damage limitation, for example, due to social media. Now, again, one click can do so much for you, but at the same time, one click can, pull down so much for you. Can put you in so much fuss. Can put you under, the dark limelight. So the dark light, not the limelight. I'm sorry. So I can put you under the dark light. Um, so there is a need for damage limitation. We have not come across such things. Safety and all of that is being improved day by day. People are working, they're coming up with software, they're coming up with things in order to control that, but it's still not so much under control. So there is a need for damage control where, for example, by social media can ruin you for your life, or can give you that fame that you may not be aware of. So yeah, this is pretty much self-explanatory. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can reach out. Thank you so much.